We'll ask Bob Kelley to address this one first. How would you summarize the city's major strengths, the immediate challenge it faces, and how it focuses strengths to solve these challenges? Bob?
One of the city's greatest strengths at this moment is the interchange and its proximity.
You can use that,
I'm sorry.
that microphone, excuse me, and pass that around at your table.
Yes, if you can each use these microphones that are in front of you, that'll save time in walking to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you. I think one of the city's greatest strengths is the interchange. I think that the traffic run up and down 75 will help greatly with economic development within the city. One of the challenges that we face right now is the economy cuts from Columbus. Some of the problems that they're having managing budgets up there, all of those problems are trickling down to residents here, and as a local government official, one of our jobs is try to manage our budget based on the cuts made at the state level and continue to provide services. We've been very committed to doing that without raising taxes and without trying to limit any of the special services, police and fire department, that we furnish to the residents of the city. So in the future, what I believe we should focus on is growth commercially. We should maximize properties around the interchange and try to develop those to the best of our potential. Try to attract amenities that serve residents, and at the same time, amenities that can complete in a regional economy that doesn't rely on resident business to sustain. So hopefully Interstate 75 will help us do that.
Thank you, Bob. Tommy Baker, same question. Strengths, challenges?
First of all, with the strengths, I think the challenge, I'll mention the challenge first. I think the Suncook lawsuit, I do want to work to settle that. But on the strengths, the development, I-75, I want to agree with Mr. Kelley on that. I think we need to get a good developer. I think if you go down to Union Center, the majority of that is developed by Schumacher-Dugan. Their signs are everywhere, and they've done a great job. I think things that we need to improve on, the two gas stations that are up there by the intersection, and then the fact that there's a car lot. Joe Morgan brought his dealership up here, and he has no cars on 63. You cannot even see him. That's some of the things that I think that we need to improve on. The outlet mall, I think that'll bring more to us off of 75. I do think we need to add more places back there that are different from Union Center, Tylersville, places to eat, different steakhouses, what have you. So when a place closes at 8, people have a place to go, get a beverage, and get dinner.
As Mr. Dane said, our strength is our people. You've got people who are willing to step up. You've got people out in the community that are doing community work. They're doing volunteering. They're doing anything they can with the schools, with the government, with the parks, with the athletic teams. We have a weakness of being able to attract businesses that will bring in more income tax. And I'm talking, outlet mall's been wonderful. And I'm sorry, Butler County, but Warren County's loving the fact that, because it's in Warren County, that they're getting income taxes out of it. And we're getting an income tax. But the average wage is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for bringing in businesses that have a higher average wage, help out with our income tax, help out so that the property owners have a little bit of relief from paying property tax, bring in some more income tax. And you can only attract, I think, if you've got good infrastructure, if you've got a great school system, which we do. People talk about our school system. Where I work, it's not even close by, and they all know Monroe's got a great school system. I've heard people say they want to move back to Monroe because of it. You've got to have great people and show it. And so when people are coming in and playing sports here, their kids are playing sports, and they're sitting in the stands with parents of Monroe, they're hearing what a great place this is. So maybe through word of mouth, through our media, through everything that we can do to show what a great city we've got and the people work together, maybe we can use that to come together and attract some more businesses, the ones that the people in the city also want, which are more restaurants. And I can assure you, our development department's been trying really hard. You can't just go and tell a company, you've got to come and put a restaurant here. You've got to encourage them and attract them. And city council and our staff has been doing everything they can to get the businesses here, one, that can help pay income taxes, and two, that can give you, the residents, the services that you're looking for.
What do you think are the key strengths?
They've all taken my thunder. No, I think beyond what the rest of this panel has said, I think one of the major key strengths and what brings great people and great businesses to our area is our location between Dayton and Cincinnati. I think it's an important realization that we can bring some great companies in here because of our location. We have great people. We have great volunteers. Susan White's right there. We have some great volunteers in the city, but we are very attractive as a city because of our location. It's what we do with it is really the key. What are the challenges? Sure, it's going through all of these numbers, and I've spent a lot of time going through every single number that we have, all the way down to our accounting system. I've got read-only access to our accounting software, so anytime I want to know a number, I can go get it. How we spend our money wisely, it's going to go back to Pete alluded to excessive spending. I've gone through every single number that we have. What we have is really bloated budgeting, per se. Our actuals don't meet what we budget out for the next year. And I think Suzi can probably talk a little bit about this, but we budget a little heavy so we can go back and go, well, in case of emergency, we've already allotted some extra here. But I think right now, we need to look at actuals versus a comfy budget. So I didn't answer your question.
Pretty good. Suzi? You got a lot of challenges, the city does. A lot of great strengths, too. How do you assess all that and make sure that take on the challenges to be successful? Because we know they will be.
I know they will be, too. Because if there's one thing the city does is pull together in times of crisis. And if we have one, they will. I'm going to have to piggyback on the finance thing because that seems to be the issue of the day. But our fund balance was built from a fiscal emergency situation to over $5 million. That's 64% of our full budget. Think about that. That's 9 months, 9 months of money that we have sitting in reserve. The auditors think that's terrific. 5 to 18% is a good number, and we're at 64. So the state cut our budget in order to balance their own. They kept the local government fund that has always come to the cities and the townships. You'll see these tax levies everywhere. We made the decision that rather than lay people off, which we've been rebuilding our police and fire forces since the fiscal emergency, and that's expensive because we have to recruit them and train them and integrate them. We can't do it all at once. We don't want to lay people off, and we don't want to raise taxes. So we did cut the spending, and we're also using some of that extra carryover balance that we have to avoid making layoffs or asking for more taxes, and I do think that is responsible. Thank you.
Okay, what are the main strengths of your community?
Well, listen, the strength of this community is its residents and its businesses and enterprises. This is a very strong community. It's been the fastest growing community in the tri-state area over the last 10 years, according to the census. This is a place people want to live. It's a place I want to live and raise a family, and I think we see a tremendous amount of new residents. So there's no question that this is a strong community that has a lot to offer. One of the challenges is that we seem to be on this budget roller coaster from fiscal emergency to surplus back to deficit. And I think that's something that really needs to stop. What we need to see from government is consistency. And we need to see prioritized spending on the right areas, rather than, for instance, the Suncoast lawsuit. That's something I disagree with council on here. As Bob Kelley said, the fund balance is $5.2 million today. It's going to $3.2 million in 5 years. If we hadn't spent $1 million on the lawsuit, $2.2 million, and I'd probably be a lot more comfortable with it. So that's what I see as a challenge. I think that if you can get consistency in government, and that first step in that is acknowledging that we've had a spending problem. I mean, spending since 2007 has increased by 55%. And we've had a tax increase. The people of Monroe have been very generous towards government by approving the 50% income tax increase. They've seen revenues increase 22%. I think a responsible city council should be able to live within that type of revenue